In this video, I'm going to show you how to clone an app from one server to another server using the Cloudways API. So if you're a big fan of Cloudways like I am, then one of the most useful features is to clone apps. Obviously, they can save you tons of time. However, sometimes you just have a lot of apps to clone, and it's more efficient to use the API than it is to use the UI. Or you build a custom tool that can automate the process for you. So it's pretty simple, and I'm just going to show you in Insomnia here. If you haven't checked out Cloudways documentation, it's really, really good. It's very simple. It's very easy to understand. I actually, when I started using this API, I didn't really even know what an API was. And so this, I think, was one of the best training documents for me to learn how APIs work, because it was so immediately useful to what I was doing, and it was really easy to understand, very graphical. So we have two different options here with cloning apps. There's clone app, which will clone the app to the server that it resides on already. And then there's clone app to another server. So we're going to do the other server here. You can see it is a post request, very simple here. Just going to copy that. I'll show you in a second. And then we've got a few parameters that we're going to use: the server ID, an integer, just the numeric ID of the server, and the app ID and the destination server ID. And then you're going to get a response with source operation, these things right here. So we're going to test it out on one of my apps, and I'll show you that in a second. So one of the things about the Cloudways API in particular is that every time you do a set of operations, you need to get a specific access token. So I would recommend setting up, depending on your advancement level, if you're just a beginner like me, then you'll want to just set up a single API call to get an access token. So I'll show you what that looks like. So you can check out in the documentation here the get OAuth access token. And again, this is just another simple API call. If you're not building any complex app, you can just use your API tool to do a post request to this location with your email from your account and your API key. Obviously, you don't want to share that anywhere, but because that's, private to your account. But those are the two parameters. And then after you send that API request, it's just going to return an access token that I think, expires in 3600, which I think is like 15 minutes or something. So this is Insomnia, my favorite app for testing APIs and stuff. You can get it for free from a link in the description below, or just Google Insomnia API tool. So here you can see we're putting in the email and the API key parameters, and it's going to show up with, your email for your account and your API key. And then when you hit send, it's going to return a response like this. This is an old access token that I got a long time ago. And it's just going to say, access token type equals bearer, and expires in. So you're going to need this for each copy action that you do. You can copy and paste it for now, or store it somewhere in your app or tool that you're building. So the easiest way to find the server ID is to open up the server that you want to be copying apps from, and just go up to the address bar and look here. And that number up here is going to be your server ID. We're going to need an app ID as well from the app. Okay, so same thing with the app. You're just going to go up to the address bar here. It's available in a bunch of different places, but this is the place that I find. So this is the app that we're going to copy. That's the app ID. So that's the other piece you're going to need. Lastly, we're just going to grab the server ID of the destination server. Okay, so you can see I've set up my query here in Insomnia, and we've got the server ID, the app ID, and the destination server ID. The last piece we're going to need is that authentication token, and that's going to go up here in bearer, and we're just going to click enabled, and then we're going to paste that new token that we just got from running the other API call to get the authentication token first. Okay, so we've got all those put in, and I'm going to send the request. All right, so it was successful. You see I returned some values here, and that's how you clone an app, from a website essentially, from one server to another with the Cloudways API. Hope that was helpful. Check out the links in the description below for some other helpful tools and links and affiliate links and stuff like that if you want to support the channel. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'm happy to answer them.